Here we go now, guys. Norwich City here, back for my reaction to that 1-0 defeat away at Nottingham Forest, and that is now 6 league games, 7 games in all competitions without a win for Norwich City now, and it seems a very long way away since we were in the top 6 and on a 9-game unbeaten run, coming off the back of that fantastic East Anglian Derby Day win, and since then we've hardly scored a goal, and we haven't kept the clean sheet, I don't think, in that time. So what's gone wrong? Well, for me, I look at the defence and I'm fairly happy with the defence. I think they're not conceding many goals, and the goals we are conceding certainly aren't mistakes to a certain extent. The one against Barnsley, yes, you can look at the defence and go, well, we should have done better, but it was because the defence had just been regrouped. Tom Tribal has to be doing better for the midfield runner in there. You can kind of let them off. Tonight, again, a winger doing what wingers should do, what our wingers should be doing, direct, getting a good ball in, and it's a good finish from Daryl Murphy. It's a proper striker's finish. So, you know, you can kind of excuse them for tonight's goal as well. For me, there's two things that have gone wrong here. It seems that, and if you want to look at the stats are damning in terms of the games we've won under when Alex Tete has been in the side, and the games that we haven't won or that we've lost when Alex Tete has been injured. Alex Tete came in and it sort of coincided with the start of that unbeaten run, and he then got injured when the unbeaten run finished. And you know, since then we've been without him and we've struggled in that midfield area. To be fair to Harrison Reed and Mario Vrancic tonight, I don't think they've done a terribly bad job. But look, there's certainly work to be done. But for me, the big weakness at the moment is them 3 players in behind the striker. They're not doing enough for me. We're getting a lot of the ball, or an average amount of the ball, but we should be doing a lot more with it. When they get the ball, I'm just so uninspired, and I can almost tell what we're going to do. And it seemed like last year, I go back to last year, and certainly at home, we were very inventive with the ball and we were scoring goals, and I certainly don't want to go back to how we were last year. But it's almost reversed in terms of we had a shocking defence last year and we were scoring goals freely, and this year the defence has solidified a lot more and we're really struggling in front of goal. Nelson Oliveira's having to drop deep and go out wide to get the ball. That shouldn't be his job. And look, Maddison, yes, he's a top player and he's been brilliant this season, but if he is a £25 million player, then we need to be seeing more from him. Just my opinion. I don't think he is a £25 million player yet, and I think he's doing fantastically well for Norwich City, and I don't think we should be relying on him alone to create chances. But Norwich City fans seem to think he's worth £25 million, and if you so think that, then he has to be creating more on a weekly basis, because his assist and goal stats for a Championship player doesn't warrant a £25 million price tag put on his head. Just being realistic. Josh Murphy, Jacob's gone. Josh Murphy has to be doing more. Admittedly, didn't get too much game time tonight, and Wes Hoolahan's drifted in and out of play as he has done for most of the season, and he hasn't got a league goal yet this season. I'm not taking anything away from these players. I think they're all fantastic players, but we have to be seeing more from them. Look, it's disappointing, and the worrying thing for me is, and Darren Huckabee said it on the Radio Norfolk commentary, it's not the fact we're playing bad football. We're not doing terribly. We're not shocking. It's just that slight bit of quality that we need, and the bit of quality that is the difference. And Nottingham Forest were very average tonight, and they're mid-table in the Championship for a reason. And unfortunately, we're mid-table in the Championship for a reason, because we're not good enough. And certainly at the moment anyway, we've shown in spells this season that we can do it. But it was almost like when Ipswich went on that ridiculous run at the start of the season, was it 5 wins in 5, and they pretty much scored with 80% of their shots. You look back to the unbeaten run, and there were a lot of draws at home where we weren't very convincing, but we were picking up them 1-0 wins away from home, and then 2-1 wins away from home, where we were scoring with pretty much our only chances, riding our luck a little bit, and our defence was doing fantastically well. That's only sustainable for a certain amount of period until your defence start conceding goals, and your strikers aren't putting the ball into the back of the net with 90% of their shots. And unfortunately, that's all untangled now. Now, the good teams in this league will develop as they go along, because you can't keep a game plan for a whole season and it work for a whole season, and we're starting to see that now. I'm not sure Daniel Farke's maybe developed this squad as much as he would have liked. And I think that does come down to the injury list that we've had. It's been shocking at times with, you know, you look at our midfield, you've got Tom Tribal out injured, you've got Alex Tete out injured, you've got Louis Thompson out injured, and we're having to play a central attacking midfielder that hasn't performed well this season in central defensive midfield tonight. That man being Mario Vrancic, who actually didn't have too bad of a game, but it was an average game, much like the rest of his teammates. Painfully average. Let's have a look at some of your guys' tweets. It's pretty depressing, I must admit, in my mentions at the moment. Let's have a look at Matt Lewis. He says, worrying lack of cohesion in this squad. Even when we went unbeaten, we weren't outplaying sides, just ground out results and had a bit of luck. Nearly 4 months in and we still look tepid with the ball and bereft of confidence. And I would disagree with you, Matt, in a sense of a lack of cohesion. I think this squad is very together and I think we've got a good squad morale here. I think that last bit is very much on it though. Looking tepid with the ball and bereft of confidence. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. We do look like we're lacking confidence. Is it a lack of confidence or is it a lack of ideas going forwards? I think it's probably a bit of both. I think Josh Murphy looks absolutely shot of confidence. I think James Maddison's riding high and I think Nelson Oliveira's riding high. So I'm not sure if it's a lack of confidence. For me, it's a lack of ideas, a lack of creativity going forwards. And you wouldn't expect that when you've got the likes of Houlihan and Maddison and Oliveira in there. You would expect something to happen. But it seems like the defence and the attacking players are disjointed. And when you've got an attacking three and behind the striker that aren't firing, you need a midfield runner. You need a Johnny Howson type player. You need a Bradley Johnson that we've had in previous years to almost pick the game up by the scruff of the neck and drive it forwards. And although Harrison Reed's a great player, and although Tom Tribal's a great player, are they forward running midfielders? No, they're not. And is Mario Vrancic going to pick the game by the scruff of the neck? Unfortunately, no, he's not. Jack saying Forest wanted them to win more than us, and that's what did it. They punished us when we weren't expecting us, and I think that's a lazy argument. To be honest, I don't think it's a fact that we didn't want the win. I think we've worked hard all season. I don't think that's an argument you can use. I think we've looked very good at times this season. It is that lack of creativity and that lack of any real tempo. And I think that's the thing. You're just dying for someone to just pick the ball up and just drive with it or just run at someone. And that's why Yannick Vilchka excites me so much. And I'm not saying he's had the best season at all. His stats certainly don't, say much for him. But at least he tries and gets forwards. At least he runs at players. And at least when he picks the ball up, you feel like something's going to happen. And to be fair, I feel that with Oliveira and Maddison as well, but I'm not feeling that with Murphy this season. I'm not feeling that with Houlihan this season, and that's a real shame, and that's something that's going to have to change. Let's get a few more tweets in. You guys can go head over to my Twitter, links in the description, at TalkNorwichCity, if you want to see all of these replies, and thank you so much to everyone who has replied. Here we go. Sam Bazance. Thank you very much, Sam, for getting in touch. He put a team that can't score goals, and the club have come out and said we don't need a striker. The club didn't want us pushing promotion because that would cost money. They don't want us in the Premier League because that costs money. They are stuck in that little bubble. And I think that's a bit harsh, Sam. First of all, I don't think being in the Premier League costs you money because it returns a ridiculous amount of TV revenue. And I think Dealey would be loving some of that TV revenue. Do we need a striker? To be honest, I don't think we do. I think we've got enough in Oliveira and Jerome when they're fit. I think we probably need a midfielder at the moment more than that. But once again, that comes down to injuries. We're all crying out for a defender, and we got Hanley, and he's hardly played since then. So I don't think the squad is lacking too much at the moment, but the injuries certainly do make it look that way, and that's been a real issue. And could we have planned for that? Possibly, but we've already pushed our wage budget to the absolute extreme, I think. So there we go. Not good for Norwich City. It's just a small matter of Alex Neil's. Preston up next, and they've beaten Bristol City 2-0 tonight, so they're going to be coming into this game with even more confidence than they would have already done. It's 7 games without a win for Norwich City, 6 in the league, and we're slowly but surely falling down the league table. Let me know your thoughts on tonight's game. The final score was Nottingham Forest 1, Norwich City 0. Things aren't going too well at the moment. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. See you later.